Fellas, today we're going to go over all of the Trials of Osiris changes. And I know for my PvE players, you may be thinking to yourselves, Cross, why would I ever play Trials? Well, this is why. Did you see that loot explosion? Fellas, this is now the amount of loot that you can walk away with from Trials of Osiris. And here's the crazy thing. Everyone can get this. Trials of Osiris has seen some massive changes, the biggest it has ever received since returning to us in Destiny 2. We're going to be breaking down all the changes to its loot system, its matchmaking, as well as some of the game mode changes itself. And we're also going to talk about my experience playing as a solo player with the Fire team and just my overall thoughts on these trial changes. Yes, there's some good changes, but there's also some things that I still think can be fine-tuned. Now, first and foremost, for my folks that have no idea what Trials of Osiris is, this is the pinnacle PvP activity inside of Destiny 2. Essentially, Saint 14 every Friday at reset until Tuesday the next week runs Trials of Osiris, and that's the character you're going to be interacting with when it comes to your rewards, your passages, all those things. Now first, let's start with the changes to our rewards. There is a base set of rewards for wins and losses for all players, regardless of Fire Team configuration or passage. Now each win you have a 50% chance for a Trials weapon, a 33% chance for a Trials Ingram, on top of granting 1 progress point towards the Trials Ghost Shell. Let me just say guys, the cosmetics this time around actually look good, and we'll discuss these points a bit later. Now loss grants you a 33% chance for a Trials weapon, so fret not, even if you do lose guys, you walk away with something. Now, if you're in a trio, a win or a loss always grants a 50% chance for both a Trials weapon and a Trials Ingram. Bungie's really trying to incentivize people to play in a Fire team. Now, reputation gains have also gotten a substantial rework, especially reputation from losses, which from Bungie is supposed to be around 10 times the amount gained. Yes, you heard that right. Literally getting a loss gives you 10 times the rep gain. And when we broke down the numbers, a win would give you somewhere between 135 and 205 rep, and a loss would give you somewhere between 60 and 155 rep. Then on top of that, you also receive bonuses when playing with clan members or in a trio. And for clan members, a win gives plus 100 more rep, while a loss gives you plus 50 more rep. So again, big incentives on playing in a 3-man Fire team, and also big incentives with playing with clanmates. Now on top of this, when you're in a trio, you'll get a flat plus 25 to reputation gains regardless of a win or a loss. Now something else to mention is that the pinnacle challenge for Trials remains unchanged. This still requires you to win 50 rounds for the week, and then the challenge from Saint 14, which requires 7 wins in total. Now let's talk our Trials game mode. The Dominion game mode has also seen some minor changes, or at least on paper, but this has actually changed how I play the game mode entirely. The zone now takes 40 seconds to spawn rather than 30 seconds, with it also taking 20 seconds to capture, up from 15. Now this seems like a minor change, but when playing Trials, guys, the objective, although important, it isn't the main focus, and there's actually many rounds that no one will actually get a capture. It's almost like we've gone back to elimination. And timing things is also extremely important now, because with 40 seconds being the countdown, if someone runs at the cap point and drops their well too soon, by the time that timer counts down for them to start actually capturing the point, their well runs out. And this goes for anything when it comes to capturing the points. There's a lot more room here for engaging, disengaging, and then re-engaging again, dancing around that control point without making it the complete focus. On top of that, neutral special ammo crates now spawn in at 30 seconds instead of 20 seconds. Now with the standard set of loot drops and game mode changes, how did our Trials passages change? This is arguably the biggest change. You can see here that we no longer have 4 different passages providing different bonuses like we used to. Instead, we just have 2 passages. We have the Trials of Osiris passage here on the left, and then we have the Lighthouse Passage. Now first, let's just break down the Trials of Osiris passage. This passage is much different than the one we've had in the past, and it's meant to be more of like an Iron Banner-esque passage in terms of rewards and matchmaking, and this is essentially meant to try to get more players into the Trials ecosystem, even if you sit around like below average skill level. Now this uses weekly performance-based matchmaking, meaning you should be matching up against players who are performing relatively similar to you for the first week. Now this passage does not allow players to go to the Lighthouse. In fact, win streaks of any kind on this passage don't grant additional rewards. Now that's not to say that winning is meaningless, as you'll still receive that bonus plus 75 to plus 100 per win, depending on your rank with Saint 14. Wins also grant a chance for Trials Ingrams, Trials weapons, and they grant a small amount of progress points towards the Trials Ghost Shells. Now to quickly explain what these progress points are, essentially these are in place as an invisible pity system, but specifically for Trials cosmetics. Now they are broken into 3 categories: vehicles, which are ships and sparrows, but are stated to be exclusive to players who can earn high win streaks. Next are the Trials Ghost Shells, which as stated previously can be earned by anyone, although higher win streaks streaks and going to the Lighthouse does grant more progress. And lastly, we have the new Trials emblem, which is also earned through high win streaks. Now, your chance of getting these cosmetics to drop goes up exponentially as your points increase. And if you do reach the upper limit of 1,000 points in any of the 3 categories, then you'll get a guaranteed drop from that category. Now, moving on, losses on the passage still grant a chance for Trials weapons and still reward rep. Playing in a full fire team is still very beneficial here, as this rewards bonus rep and the chance for a Trials weapon and a Trials Ingram to drop. Now, you get these benefits regardless if you get a win or a loss, so you'll always be getting more loot if you're playing with the full fire team. Now, something important to note is that you cannot earn adept weapons from the Trials of Osiris passage. Let me repeat that. The Trials of Osiris passage will not give you the adept drop. Only base Trials weapons have a chance to drop, and adept weapons have to be earned while on the Lighthouse Passage. So again, Trials Passage meant to be more of like a quick play version of Trials. Dip your toes in, try it out. If you're looking to just get some bounties done, maybe some challenges, or snack some Trials rep, this is a great way to go. But now on to our Lighthouse Passage. This is going to be your more popular passage, and it's going to be the one you need if you're trying to get to the Lighthouse. The focus of this card is essentially to get 7 wins no matter how many losses you get along the way, but with an emphasis on how many wins in a row that you can get, as that will greatly increase your rewards. Now, this card uses open skill matchmaking, which means you're going to be matching pretty much anyone regardless of skill. They could be on their flawless run, they could be just now starting off in the card. It doesn't matter. Again, it's different from the previous passage we just talked about. Now, your Lighthouse rewards are broken up into 2 categories. You have your repeatable rewards that you get every time you visit the Lighthouse and open the chest, and then there's also your weekly win streak rewards. First, let's just go over the repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards. These are earned every Lighthouse visit until a flawless passage is earned, that being 7 games being won in a row. Now, this chest will give you 1 to 2 enhancement prisms, 1 base Trials weapon, 1 piece of Trials armor, 3 Assyrian ciphers, and around a 45% chance to get an Ascended Shard. Then you also have your chance at getting an adept weapon, which actually has a few factors involved here. You have 2 chances of getting an adept with each Lighthouse visit. The first is based on your highest weekly win streak, with only a 1 win streak giving you a 30% chance, a 2 win streak giving you a 60% chance, but a 3 win streak giving you a guaranteed 100% chance of an adept weapon dropping. Now, this win streak is based on the longest win streak you've earned during the entire Trials weekend. So if on one card you got a 3 win streak and you do another card and your highest is, let's say, only 2 wins in a row, you should still get the adept reward since you had a 3 win streak prior during this weekend. Now, the other chance of getting an adept weapon is based on the number of wins completed as a full fire team of 3. So if you're a solo or a duo player, that does not apply to you. Again, Bungie wants you to play in a fire team. Now, the percentages are as follows in a full fire team. 1 win is a 50% chance of getting an adept, and a 7 win is a 100% chance of getting an adept. Now, these are additive, meaning if you're playing in a trio, you have a chance to get 2 adept drops. Now, this is how it's supposed to work, and I'm leaving this here as this should be fixed, but Bungie did confirm that currently the bonus adept chance for playing with a full fire team is currently not firing. However, there's still other incentives for playing in a full fire team we went over earlier, and this should hopefully be fixed soon. Now, there's also weekly win streak rewards, which are packages earned for each win streak milestone that you earn, and they can only be claimed once per week. Now, earning a higher tier win streak will reward all lower tiers if they haven't already been claimed, so you won't miss out there by getting a 7 win streak right away. On top of this, weekly win streak rewards are in addition to the repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards. Now, the rewards granted per win are as follows. You've got your 1 win streak, your enhancement cores, prisms, your Ascended Shards, your depth mod, your ghost shell, that being the progress points, your emblem, your 2 to 3 win streaks. Then you'll notice a big bump here when you get to 5 win streaks, from the glow to the memento, the progress points toward your vehicle and your ghost shell, your trial shaders, and the flawless emblems. Then 6 win streaks, you see the white Trials glow. And then finally, for your 7 win streak, you get your red Trials glow, your adept weapon ×1, your base weapon ×1. It also unlocks the new flawless passage, and it enables progress on the new stat tracker for flawless win streak. And that's pretty much the gist of the Lighthouse Passage. But there are 2 more additional passages to mention. Once you've earned your way to the Lighthouse, meaning you got 7 wins total, but didn't go flawless, your passage will turn into a completed Lighthouse Passage. Now, this utilizes weekly performance-based matchmaking if everyone in your fire team is either on a completed flawless or a Trials Passage. Now, if anyone on your fire team, though, is still in a Lighthouse Passage, it will use open skill instead. Now, this passage is similar to the old experience of going flawless to the Lighthouse, and then you can just continue to play in that passage for additional rewards. Now, same thing here. If you continue playing on this completed Lighthouse Passage, you will get extra rewards on wins, which is based on your highest weekly win streak. And if you still have not earned all the weekly win streak reward packages, and you can reset your passage and keep trying. Now, here on the screen, you'll see a chart of the different rewards you can earn, as well as the percentage chances based on the highest weekly win streak that you're on. Now, if you've earned all 7 weekly win streak rewards, aka you go flawless, your passage will then be updated to the flawless passage that you see here. Now, it's here that all the repeatable Lighthouse chest rewards will be folded into their post-win drop chances, alongside higher chances to earn cosmetics and the new Trials emblem. And you'll notice here from my passage, guys, I was not allowed to reset my passage. But yes, I did end up getting the ship and the sparrow pretty quickly. Now, being on this passage also allows you to progress the new flawless win streak stat tracker. So again, instead of flexing how many times you can go to the Lighthouse, now you're going to be flexing your flawless win streak. Now, earning this passage will be the only way to progress this stat tracker. And the previous flawless tickets tracker has been locked and will no longer increase, but can still be displayed on emblems. Now, this passage uses weekly performance-based matchmaking, is on a completed Lighthouse flawless or Trials passage. But this is also a hybrid system where it only spends a short period of time looking for other similar players before it reverts back to open skill. So this basically means that matchmaking times should not increase and connection quality should not reduce, hopefully, too much. But that's it, guys. Those are our changes for Trials of Osiris. Now, there is other changes coming later in Act 2, which will impact matchmaking. It's in Act 2 that fire team duos will match trios right off the bat for both Trials and inside of comp. On top of that, solo players that get matched against larger fire teams in either Trials or comp will get granted forgiveness so long as they don't quit or go AFK or intentionally throw the game. Now, in terms of my thoughts on Trials right now, let me just say, guys, this is probably the most I've played Trials in almost a year, maybe even longer. Trials used to be something we used to hit up a bunch, but now it's just kind of a thing we do on Fridays, and then we bounce out the playlist, and then that's it. And most people, especially my PvE players, dreaded the idea of going into Trials. I hope that these changes are going to be enough to invite those folks to give this game mode a go. The only thing I wish that could change right now is that those changes that are coming in Act 2 for fireteam duos to match trios, for solo players to have some level of immunity, I just wish those changes can go live now. And I'm curious if it's because Bungie's trying to just gauge to see how the Trials changes currently are received before they move into that direction. But there's still a ton of solo players that are having a bad experience inside of Trials. Even when I was playing solo earlier, it was just very hit or miss, and it always is. You'll get one good team, and then the next game, it's the direct opposite. And it's really hard to get a win streak going in that environment. Trials is not perfect yet, but I will say it is a lot better. I feel the relief from folks that I play with and other folks that are trying Trials for the first time when they realize, hey, if I lose, this doesn't ruin my card. I didn't just waste 2-3 hours. And if we could somehow push those Act 2 changes up just a little bit closer, I think that would capitalize on the momentum that Trials has started off with this season. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.